Hello, and welcome to Super Pope Lord Studios. I'm Craig. Today, we're going to be having a look at Top Pop. Now, this is a prototype version of the game that I've been sent to have a quick look at. It's currently on Kickstarter, and I'll share the link down below, or if I can get it figured out, there should be a lovely link you can click on right somewhere here. If I haven't figured it out, I'm going to look a little silly. Ah well. So, what is Top Pop? Top Pop is kind of well, they describe it as a stacking game. You're going to be using your pop caps here. Now, mine are wooden discs, but the versions that'll be in the actual game are going to look like little pop caps off the top of bottles, which I think is kind of neat. So in Top Pop, you will be taking control of one of 6 different fictionalized soft drink companies. You are going to be spending marketing to try and take over certain cities. Your marketing will be represented by your pop caps. Now, in my prototype version I've got here, they're just these nice little wooden discs in the 6 colors of the soft drink manufacturers. However, in the final version, and in some prototype versions, they look like the little caps you get off of the glass bottles, which I think is a nice little touch. How do you claim a city? Well, you are going to be acquiring these pop caps during play. On your turn, you are going to be playing a card, either a day card or a night card. Night cards go face down, day cards face up. If you place it in front of yourself, place it in front of yourself, end of story. Place it in front of another player, and you will take a cap of their color. After you've played a city card, you can take a cap from the center of any color that you choose. If you've played in front of another player, it's the only way you can get 2 caps in one turn. So the number of players that you're playing with dictates the number of cities that are available to you. For example, for a 2-player game, you are going to be playing with 18 cards total, which includes St. Louis, New York, San Francisco, and Las Vegas. More players, more cities are available. On your city card in the top left corner of it, it will indicate how many of that city are available in the deck. For example, there are 7 Chicago cards, 9 New Orleans cards, and 8 Seattle cards. In the normal version of the game, there are no powers on each of these. In an advanced variant of the game, 3 of the cards actually have abilities on them. I'll leave those for you to discover yourself. So with these cards in front of you, caps in your hand, you're going to be playing stacks of caps on the cards. If at the beginning of your turn you have a highest stack on a certain city, you will take that city card to you. I'm not going to go over the rules so much, but that's the gist of the game. You keep going until one player has got 6 city cards in front of them, at which point everyone has one final turn, game over, tally up the scores. If you have the most of one city type, each of those city cards is worth 2 points. If you don't, 1 point each. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. That's the end of the game. So that's essentially the gist of the game. There are a couple of minor little other rules in there. I'll be honest, the rulebook is a little bit difficult to read at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that's just down to the fact it is a prototype. Saying that, it's a fairly easy to understand game. I managed to figure it out in a few minutes. We got to have a good game of it. We played it again. We got a couple of rules wrong, such as we were playing 2 players, and there should be a third neutral color that's going to be taking cards that no one else is taking. This just kind of adds a simulation of another player coming in, and you have to kind of take into account what they're doing so you can try and get the cards that you want, whilst you're, building a bigger stack than your opponent to make sure they don't get the cards. Now, one thing that I do find interesting is it took me a little bit to get used to it right off the bat. But at the beginning of your turn, you always take any cards where you have the biggest stack. And I thought that was strange to start with, because I misunderstood it the first time I read the rules, and I thought, well, that kind of sucks for player 2, because they're going to start, and then I'm going to immediately take all the cards because I've got the biggest stacks and everything. But it's only the ones where you have the biggest stack. So you get this nice, interesting thing happening, where you are deliberately just going and placing 2 caps to make your stack slightly bigger than the other person so that they don't get that card on their turn. And it creates a weird little dynamic of, I don't really have too much of an interest in that card, but I don't want them grabbing it, because they're on 5 cards and I still need a couple of more turns to really get ahead in this game. So I'm going to block them there. So it can create a couple of little interesting things like that. I'll be honest, the first time I played this game, I didn't really enjoy it that much, but to be honest, that was entirely my fault. I didn't read the rules right, and as I said, I forgot to include the neutral player, and even afterwards I'm sitting there thinking, what difference is the neutral player going to make? It'll just drag the game out more, and make it longer. It doesn't. It makes it a bit more interesting, and yeah, I did have a lot of fun playing this game. I'm definitely looking forward to getting it to the table again and playing it. Unfortunately, I have to pack this up and send it off to someone else to review as well. So I'm going to have to back it and get myself another copy to play. Things that I enjoy in this game, there is a nice feeling about just, I mean, how many of us have sat there with poker chips while we're playing and just sat there and mucked around with them, stacking them, restacking them, shuffling them around in our fingers, and then that is basically what this entire game is getting more chips to stack on cards and play with the chips. And I enjoyed that. It was very satisfying. And I imagine it's going to be even better when it's caps that actually fit into one another. So aside from the tactile feel of this game, I enjoyed the little strategies of trying to get a slightly higher stack than your opponent just to stop them from getting the card on their turn. So it gives you some more time to get around and get your own game playing. Now, I didn't get around to trying out the advanced version with these with the powers on them. So I like this. So like, this power on the Seattle card here is on your turn, you may take one losing stack of yours off of a card. That would be really good at the right moment, because you could just remove 4 caps off of it, say, and move those to somewhere else where you can absolutely dominate the card. And not only that, but your opponent then has a huge stack on the card that they get the card, but they lose out on a hell of a lot of caps, and you have more of them to use everywhere else. Would I recommend Top Pop? Yes. Who would I recommend it to? If you want a big game that's going to take you all night to play, have a lot of fun, have a lot of laughs over it, this isn't that game. This is a game that you can play multiple times. Now, on the box it does say 60 minutes. I didn't have a game that lasted over 30 minutes. At the same time, I was playing 2 players, so with higher player count, that time may go up, but it's a great little filler game. It would be fantastic fun to just crack this one out, play it, and then put it away and move on to the next game, or play another round of it. You could play multiple games of this in a game's night, rather than just playing one game of anything. So, yeah, I would highly recommend checking out the Kickstarter. Have a look through it. It's not an overly expensive game. For what you're going to spend it on, you're more than going to get your money's worth. You're going to have a lot of fun playing it. Now, I did get sent this review copy for free, but as I said, I'm going to be passing it on, and that's about as far as I know. I'm happy that I got to have a shot of it and play it before the Kickstarter came out. Unfortunately, work and shipping was a bit strange, so I didn't get overly large amount of time. So yeah, that's essentially my thoughts on Top Pop. It's a little bit of a rambling thought, I know. I apologize, my mind is gone. Yeah, so check out the Kickstarter. It should be linked below, or maybe a link on the screen. I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm looking into it. And I hope you enjoyed the review. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below, and I'll get back to you. That's it for now, and I'll see you again later. Goodbye.